Hello everyone, it is Jayden and welcome to The Alpha, the show where we talk about the hottest topics in pop culture and sports. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button on the video, and if you enjoy my commentary and myself truly as always, be sure to tap that subscribe button and to hit that notification bell to get notified when all my videos go live. I love you guys so much. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See ya. I told you guys it's going to be the headliner for my show. All my football fans who are currently watching me right now. Jayden. Jay, whatever nickname y'all call me, okay. What did you think of the Shedeur Dillion Gabriel duel of the death, week 3 of the preseason? What did you think, sir? First off, I had this game on my radar, okay. I originally was out doing something at that time on Saturday, and I was like, oh my lord, I forgot the game is on. Had me a good old round of golf, you know. Shot 100, trying to break 100 here on my golf game. My golf game absolutely is atrocious at the moment. Done that, shot 100, pretty happy going into the day. Went to go get some lunch, and I noticed that the game was on, and I knew I had this on my radar because, okay, Dillion Gabriel, Shedeur was going to get the start. You know, I was very much looking forward to seeing Shedeur in week 2. Oblique injury, didn't get to play, so we get with Shedeur in week 3. So I'm looking, okay. Didn't know Joe Flacco got to start, so that's good to see. Joe Flacco got to start, get it over with, get you some reps going into the last season, you know, the last game before we start the season. Cool. Dillion Gabriel gets it first. All right. And let's just talk about Mr. Dillion Gabriel's stats here. Okay. Dillion Gabriel was 12 for 19 for 129 yards, averaged 6.8 yards per throw, and had a quarterback rating of 100. And to put that into perspective, we're not going to get deep into the Shedeur stuff just yet, okay? I saw it live, and he made some good throws. Third down plays, sticking it in there, rolling out of the pocket, making some throws, commanding the offense. Dillion Gabriel looked pretty good, and Dillion Gabriel has looked pretty good in the preseason. So Dillion Gabriel played until halftime. All right, coming out of the second half. Shedeur's time. Mr. Shedeur Sanders. It's his time to shine bright. And boy, did he crumble. Did he crumble. Now, I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this in a bad way, because I am a Shedeur fan. I want him to succeed. Obviously, I think in the future, in your best interest as an organization, I think Shedeur Sanders should be the number 1 option for the Browns. But Shedeur Sanders, and I'm not giving no excuses for him, he looked absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. In every single facet that you can imagine, from seeing the field, throwing the ball, communicating with his teammates, dropping back on time, rhythm, everything else, Shedeur Sanders was absolutely awful. Warren Sharp, a very credible source in the media, this was Shedeur Sanders' stats. He had 5 sacks, 3 completions, 2.3 yards per attempt, net yardage of negative 27 yards on 11 dropbacks. You can't defend it. And I'm going to go ahead and just put my 2 cents into this. I do believe, and I'm not making excuses for Shedeur, I do think that Dillion Gabriel had the better personnel out there while he was manning the quarterback position. I do. It's true. You can't deny it. It's true. But in the same breath, there's no excuses. There's no excuses for how Shedeur played. None. Not any. Taking those sacks, and a lot of those sacks, he actually could have gotten rid of the ball and ran out of the pocket. But instead, he took the sack. That's inexcusable. Did I watch the replay? Yes, I have watched the replays. Did the scheme and the play calling, was it any good like Dillion Gabriel had? Absolutely not. Did anyone look open for Shedeur? Absolutely not. But at the quarterback position, Your job is to minimize as much damage as possible. AKA, you just cannot take sacks and turn the ball over. If I'm not mistaken, he lost the fumble. I don't think he specifically had any turnovers, if I am mistaken. Yes, Shedeur, he had one fumble and he did not lose it. So I was right. But you got to take care of the football. You can't take unnecessary sacks. All of this is true at the quarterback position. And I know a lot of people has been throwing around this narrative that Shedeur was sabotaged. No, he was not. Kevin Stefanski called plays based on the personnel that was out on the field. He had Shedeur Sanders out there dropping back the pass. I would argue you were sabotaging him if he was calling more run plays than what he was pass plays, because we are out there to see Shedeur sling it. But I don't think that Kevin Stefanski sabotaged Shedeur. And I understand people who have that argument, because you could say, why is he starting Dillion Gabriel first and not Shedeur Sanders? Ladies and gentlemen, I really do believe, even after going into their first preseason game, if Dillion Gabriel was healthy and was available, that was the quarterback who was going to start that game. I believe that 100%. We have to recognize this. Dillion Gabriel was drafted first over Shedeur Sanders. Jayden, what does that mean? That means that obviously the Browns favored and still favor Dillion Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders. So, when we go into this game and we dissect it, of course, they are going to give Dillion Gabriel the better personnel, because when push comes to shove, that is who they probably think and want to be their quarterback too. So they want to give him, they're trying to give Dillion Gabriel valuable reps and see those reps with their own eyes for, what's the word I'm looking for here? What's the word I'm looking for? I can't get it out of my head. Certainty, affirmation, pretty much, you could say, that he is your number 2 guy by putting him the best possible personnel that you can get out there on the field. And when push comes to shove with Shedeur Sanders didn't get that treatment. Is that malpractice? Would it had been smarter to possibly share the personnel within one another? Maybe. But we just can't hide the fact that even though Shedeur wasn't able to produce with what he had, he wasn't helping the situation. He pressed from the very first drop back that he had, drifting backwards on every drop back, taking those unnecessary sacks. It just wasn't great. It was not great. And I understand, I've seen the tweets from Derek Carr, Kurt Warner, everyone who's just sitting here like, okay. And there's a something dumb that I really do not agree with, that I'm going to discuss right after we get done discussing this. Actually, no, let's go ahead and just clear the air on that. The one thing that I do not agree with Kevin Stefanski, why, and this is a point to where the Shedeur Sanders crowd has the right and are pretty valid into thinking that, Kevin Stefanski was sabotaging Shedeur. Why in the name, and I'm not even going to finish that sentence, Jesus, that's just so wrong. Why, just why, in a final 2-minute drill to win the game, Shedeur hasn't played well the whole half, and this is like This is when you want to see the rookie quarterback. 2-minute drill. Game's on the line. What are you going to do? Backs against the wall. Hasn't played good. All half. Prime position for Shedeur. You can argue all would have been forgiven if he would have found a way to win that ball game and take him down to kick a game-winning field goal. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was a field goal. And you put in Tyler Huntley, a guy who you knew wasn't going to be on the roster. They released him as of yesterday, the day after you played the game. And you put him in over Shedeur? Now that, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot defend that. All the Shedeur Sanders supporters out there, I'm with you on that one. That absolutely made no sense to me whatsoever, not one iota. I'm with you. I did not agree with that, not one bit. But that's what you do? Knowing you're not going to keep the guy? You don't want to see your rookie quarterback put on a potential masterclass with the game on the line? That's just coaching malpractice, in my opinion. I don't understand it. And that's what Derek Carr said in his tweet. Derek Carr was like, am I missing something? Did something happen that I don't know? Is Shedeur Sanders hurt? That was the speculation going on when Shedeur Sanders was, walking up and down the sideline. Did he hurt his oblique again? But Shedeur just looked frustrated. So, to get that out of the way, that was absolutely ignorant on Kevin Stefanski's part. And those who are out there giving the argument that it was sabotage, perfectly valid. But I don't think it 100% was. Even though you just can't defend it. And I didn't get a clear interpretation of the message that Kevin Stefanski had post-game when he was trying to defend and answer the reporter's question as to why he made the decision. It just sounds stupid. It wasn't a good excuse for why he did. So that, for those who are thinking that, you're absolutely valid. But all jokes aside, we as football people in the media, we just got to accept that altogether, Dillion Gabriel looked like the better quarterback. I didn't think that going into this game, but leaving out of it, just in what way, form, or fashion, and to answer the question at hand, has Shedeur Sanders lost the QB spot to Dillion Gabriel? The answer is unequivocally, without a doubt, yes. For multiple reasons. And Mr. Adam, if you're still watching, I'm going to get to your question here in a minute. He was the first quarterback drafted ahead of Shedeur. Reason number one, you drafted the guy ahead of Shedeur. So you already, as an organization, wanted Dillion Gabriel. Now, after you've seen the performances through the preseason, mini camp, training camp, Dillion Gabriel's got more reps with the first and second team. And after these games, Dillion Gabriel is unequivocally the quarterback 2 because now he's played the best in the preseason. So there is no shot that Shedeur Sanders is getting the QB2 position going into the season. Adam, I will get to you in just 1 second, sir, when I'm getting done with my comments. But as my headline says, I'm trying to get used, and I'm trying to get used to just being able to, talk and read my comments at the same time. So I'm losing my train of thought when I'm reading the comments. So Adam, just hang in there for me, man. I'm going to answer your questions. I see them in the chat. I will get to them in just 1 second. I'm not used to getting comments, guys. Thank you for the comments and for whoever's watching. Thank you so much. But to answer my overall question, okay, Shedeur Sanders has lost the battle at this point, but has he 100% lost the war? Ladies and gentlemen, I do think, with my whole heart of hearts, I really do. I think although he lost the quarterback 2 battle going into the season, I don't see a scenario where either Dillion Gabriel or Shedeur was going to start this season, just because I think Kevin Stefanski knows this. Just a couple of seasons ago, Joe Flacco was able to take them to a playoff game. And even though Joe Flacco didn't play well in that playoff game, but he's seen this team be able to go to the playoffs with that quarterback. So they're in no way, form, or fashion, unless Joe Flacco absolutely stinks up the joint, because he didn't play particularly well in Indianapolis. But unless he absolutely stinks up the joint, there's no way either of these rookies were going to see the field this season. So, in the long run, again, Shedeur may have lost the battle, but overall, I think Shedeur is going to win the war. When you pull up the college tape, and even some of the plays that he's made so far in the preseason, excluding this last game because he made absolutely no plays. But we have to just say unequivocally that we think that Shedeur is the more better quarterback, NFL-ready guy. NFL-ready quarterback. Reword that, please, Jayden. Thank you very much. He's the more NFL-ready guy. He has the physical attributes. He has the play style. The only significant difference I feel that Dillion Gabriel does better than Shedeur is maybe pocket presence, because of the stupid amount of sacks that Shedeur Sanders has took the last couple, during the game, not the last couple of games, but just during that game specifically. But that is something that can be easily fixed throughout the season and maybe at the end of the season going into next year, because the Browns have to make a decision. In no way, form, or fashion are they keeping both quarterbacks for the next 4 years they're under contract. Shedeur Sanders and Dillion Gabriel are not sitting on the same roster for the 4 years that they're under contract. They're not. It's going to have to be one or the other. Coaches, GMs, everyone is going to be clamoring specifically for Shedeur. I don't think they're going to clamor for Dillion Gabriel at all. If Shedeur Sanders does not get the quarterback 2 position and he's the quarterback 3 on the depth chart, I promise you, all season, if he does not see the field, he's getting trade calls. And he will get traded. The Cleveland Browns fans might not like that, because we see the allure and love that the Cleveland fan base has for Shedeur, because when Shedeur got on that field, everyone was cheering for him. So if you're the Cleveland Browns, you better tread lightly, okay? You got a very loyal fan base, but man, have they been hurting for a quarterback. They've been hurting for a quarterback so bad, they traded for someone such as Deshaun Watson, and we see how that has turned out for them. So you got to get this right. But I do think there's a situation in the future that I do think that Shedeur Sanders should be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns over Dillion Gabriel. I do. Because I think, given equal opportunity, Shedeur Sanders can outduel and outperform Dillion Gabriel any given point. I do. But in the same breath, we cannot give Shedeur excuses for the way that he played. We just cannot do it. So that is where I'm at. I think that he lost the battle for quarterback 2, but I think ultimately Shedeur Sanders, when it's all said and done, should still be the quarterback 2 and maybe even quarterback 1 once Joe Flacco is under and over the helm. All right. Mr. Adam, I'm going to get to your questions now. The first one you said, I would tell Shedeur just block out all of the negative noise. This is your team, and these are your teammates. You'll get your chance. I'm a Shedeur fan and get it, but Shedeur needs to hear better things. I do agree. Both of the brothers, and I was going to talk about Shiloh just a little bit, but it was not a good weekend for the Shedeur for the Sanders boys. They did not have a good weekend this week. We saw that Shiloh actually did get released by the Buccaneers after he made just the stupidest idea to want to punch somebody. But even Shedeur, just negative noise. He has a lot of support, but with that support comes a lot of negativity, and it's kind of hard not to block out the negative noise given the type of mentality that Shedeur has, because he feeds off of the negativity, and that is what's going to attract him the most outside of the positivity. So it's something that he's just got to work on personally. I think Shedeur and Gabriel are both going to be good. They could actually make a great quarterback duo. I don't think so. I would agree with you if they were two different quarterbacks. If you had like a Drew Brees, Taysom Hill type of situation where you had your accurate passer and then you had like this prolific athlete at the quarterback 2 position that you could put in some certain packages. But I like Trey Lance and Brock Purdy at the time, Taysom Hill and Drew Brees, what Dallas should have did with Trey Lance and Dak. But I don't see them being a great quarterback duo. It's just because they both have the same play style. They are both pass-centric quarterbacks. They're not athletic. They're not athletic to the point Josh Allen-esque, Patrick Mahomes-esque, where they can make plays with their feet. So I don't see a situation. Why would you keep two of those type of quarterbacks? Because you're just holding one over the other hostage. Both of them could probably be starting quarterbacks not on any given team, but on a quarterback needed team. I would say, me personally, Shedeur over Dillion Gabriel. But I don't think it's a good idea for them to be a quarterback duo. I don't think that's in the best interest for both of them, in my personal opinion. Just staying on a team, even if you're a 4th stringer, creates interest from other teams. Absolutely. Yeah. And this is the same case for Kenny Pickett. I totally think Kenny Pickett is going to... Well, actually, no. Kenny Pickett isn't going to get cut because the Cleveland Browns has literally stated that they are going to keep 4 quarterbacks. So Kenny Pickett is safe. But yeah, Kenny Pickett is going to draw interest. Do I see a situation where the Browns is possibly going to get rid of Kenny Pickett at some point during the season? Absolutely. But yeah, even a fourth stringer creates interest on other teams. Now, I wouldn't say necessarily a 4th stringer because, the 4th stringer, you're more than likely on a practice squad. So the only time you really get interest from that type of guy is if he gets cut and then he's on the waiver wire and then, a team picks him up from the waiver wire. Not majority of the time do you see a 4th stringer getting traded for. So, but I get what you're trying to say. But, yeah, Adam, thank you for your comments, man. I hope you enjoyed my answers, and I hope that gave you a little bit of, different outlook on the situation from my comments. But all right, guys, that is it. I want to know all of your thoughts. What do you think about this whole situation? Do you think Shedeur still deserved quarterback 2? Do you think do you agree with me that you think that he is going to win the war in this situation? Shedeur, speaking about Shedeur, I want to know all of your comments down below, ladies and gentlemen.